Today I'm going to show you how to make some cute little pumpkins. The pattern on my Etsy shop comes with 3 different sizes, a large, a medium, and a small. And today I'm going to show you how to make the small one. So here's what you'll need. The yarn, worsted weight yarn of your choice. I'm using Impeccable in the color Pumpkin, and you'll need 2 strands of that to work at the same time. So you can either grab 2 different skeins or each end of one skein. You'll also need a small amount of brown yarn for the stem, some twine to tie on top of the stem, a 5.5 millimeter hook, a 3.5 millimeter hook for the stem, a pair of scissors, a needle that just dropped, and some polyfill. So let's get started. Here's the needle that just dropped. There we go. So let's get started. You're going to start with your 5.5 millimeter hook and 2 strands of yarn. So grabbing 2 strands of yarn, you're going to leave about a 12-inch tail in the beginning. You're going to tie a slip knot. And we're going to chain 29. Okay, so after you've done 29, we're going to slip stitch into the very first chain, creating a circle. Make sure it doesn't get twisted. So slip stitch. And we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet into the same stitch that we did the slip stitch. Half double crochet. And we're going to half double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, we're doing our last half double crochet, and we're going to attach to the first one with a slip stitch. And there we go, there's our first row. For the second row, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to do a half double crochet again all the way around, but instead of doing it right underneath the loop like you normally do, we're going to go underneath the middle loop. So this is where you normally insert your hook. We're going to go down a little bit further. So half double crochet, so it's in between the 2 stitches, not right under the loop there. So I'll show you again. This is where you normally insert. We're going to go under the middle bar there. And we're going to keep doing that all the way around for a total of 29 stitches in each row. So we did 29. We're going to slip stitch again into the first one we did, and we're going to repeat that row again. So chain 1, half double crochet, we're going to repeat this for 11 rows. So we're on our third now, so I'll work the rest of the rows until the end of row 11 and I'll meet you back here. Okay, we're coming up to the end of our 11th row. And we're going to slip stitch into the first one we did of that row. And now before fastening off, we have to leave a long enough strand to create the sections of the pumpkin. So to do this, I fold my pumpkin in half and I wrap both strands 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And you can wrap it loosely. You just want to make sure it's long enough. And then cut. And then unwrap that. And then I just pull this through that loop we made. There we go. And now we're going to close it up to make a circle shape. So starting at the bottom, just grab my needle, attach your needle to the first 2 strands, that long tail you left at the beginning, and we're going to weave in and out of this bottom row. And it doesn't have to be in and out of each one. I skip every other one. So I skip one, I pull it through, I skip one, and pull it through this way. So skip this one. You don't have to skip, but just to save you a little bit of time. Oh, I skipped 2 there. We're going to do this all the way around till we get to the end. I'll just do one more for good measure and pull it as tight as you can. And then I cross over a few times just to secure the hole. So crossing over this way, off to the side here, and then cross over perpendicular to that. And then I tie a little knot. And you can weave in your end if you want. I'm just going to try and make this less noticeable. Or you could just pull in your thread, your yarn to the inside of your pumpkin and leave it there, and it'll hide when you stuff your pumpkin. Just like that. Next, we're going to do the same thing with the other strand we left, the other tail. We're going to come in and out. Continue all the way around. But before we pull this tight, we have to stuff it. So you could stuff it to your desired stuffing, but you don't want to overstuff it because you want to, when you make your sections, you want it to be able to pull in tighter. But I like a pretty full pumpkin. Grab some more stuffing. Okay, so when you've stuffed it to your likeness, wait one sec. All right. So when you're happy with the stuffing you have, pull it tight. As tight as you can without breaking it. And then do the same thing you did at the bottom. We're going to close off this little hole. You might see a hole here, but we're going to cover it with the stem. So it's not a huge deal. So I go across one way, and you could pull tighter here, and then across the other way. And then come back out, so you could tie a little knot. Okay, so now we're going to create the sections of the pumpkin. So the way I do this is I'm going to cross over the hole, I'm going to go around, and I'm going to insert my hook in the bottom. When you go to do the large pumpkin or the medium pumpkin, the longer the needle the better because it gets really hard, but the small one is not too tricky. So you're going to find the hole at the bottom, you're going to insert your hook, and you're going to bring it out through the top. You might have to squish a bit to find it. Okay. When this extra strand is really long, it's a little tricky to get started. Just make sure these stay together. Okay, so we have our first one done. So when I do the first one, I usually go the opposite to split the pumpkin in half. So pull tight, because you want to be able to see those sections. And put the needle back through the bottom and out through the top. Okay, so now we have our pumpkin split in half. So then I take each half and I split that into 3. So I go about 1/3 of the way, and I do the same thing. I insert through the bottom, out through the top, pulling to make a section. We're going to go over this a second time so that we could pull the sections even tighter for a more defined look. And then, so this was the next one I did, and I'm going to split this in half so that this whole half section was split into 3. I hope that makes sense. And make sure your loose end, if you get to this part where it's getting caught in it, you need to pull it out a little more so you don't lose that after. Okay, so this half was split into 3. Now we're going to do the other one. I'm going to split that into 3. Okay, so now I'm going to go over each one a second time, and you'll see how going over it a second time kind of pulls it. You're able to pull it a little tighter for better looking sections, in my opinion. Unless you overstuff it. If you overstuff it, it might be hard to do this part. I think I might have. Okay, and look how cute those sections are. And then we have a nice little bottom of the pumpkin here. And this one doesn't look as nice, so this is the part we're going to put the stem on. So now at this point, you can just tie a knot. It's a little tight. Okay, once you have a knot, you can just weave this end through and cut off the excess. There you go, that's the pumpkin part. And now we're going to make the stem. So for this you need your 3.5mm hook and your brown yarn. Okay, for the stem we're going to take our brown, do a magic circle, and we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pull tight, and then without joining, so you may want to mark up your row here. If you have a stitch marker, you can use that. I always just use strands of yarn and just lay it right before my first row, but you could do it however you're used to. We're going to do 2 single crochets into that first stitch, 1, and then a second one into the same stitch, and we're going to do 1 in the next one. So we did 2 and then 1, and we're going to repeat alternating 2 and 1. So 2 in the third stitch, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, and then 1. I just keep moving my yarn to mark my row. So we're on the 3rd row. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. So that'll be 9 single crochets in this row. And then row 4, we're going to do the same thing. Single crochet around. And we're going to do this until the end of row 6. So that's row 4. So this is row 5. We're going to single crochet all the way around. And then one more row, row 6. Single crochet all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first one there. You can pull out your stitch marker and then leave a long enough tail to sew onto the pumpkin. And then just pull that through. I have this end here that I could just stuff inside. And we're going to stuff this little stem. So grab a little bit of your stuffing. attach your needle. So now we're going to sew our stem onto the pumpkin. So to do that, you just go in and out some of the stitches at the top. And go through one of the stitches in your stem. And just keep doing that all the way around. And once you've reached the end, just tie a little knot. And then weave your end through the pumpkin. And cut it off. And then we're going to attach our twine. So grab 2 strands of the twine. And just tie a bow. And once you're happy with the way it looks, just cut the other side. And there you go, your cute little pumpkin. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. My Etsy shop has the printable version for a small price if you prefer that, and it also comes with 2 other sizes in that printable pattern as well. Make sure to tag me if you make these. I'd love to see your creations. Thanks, bye.